The text was meant for her best friend. Coffee tomorrow, I miss you. But when 3 black SUVs surrounded her house at midnight, she realized she'd just invited a monster into her life. Or maybe he was exactly what her broken heart needed. The apartment was too quiet. Iris Morgan sat curled on her threadbare couch, phone glowing in the dim light of her living room. The dinner she'd microwaved sat untouched on the coffee table, steam long since faded. Through the window, the city hummed with Friday night life. Laughter, car horns, the distant thrum of music from the bar down the street. All of it felt like it was happening to someone else. 2 years. 2 years since the accident. 2 years since Owen's smile had been ripped from the world by a drunk driver who'd walked away with a fine and a suspended license. 2 years since Iris had really lived. She scrolled through her contacts, hovering over her best friend Zara's name. Zara had gotten a new number after her phone was stolen last week. She'd texted it in their group chat, but Iris hadn't saved it yet. She found it, copied it, started a new message. Hey, coffee tomorrow, I miss you. I know I've been distant. I'm trying, I really am. She hit send before she could overthink it. The message delivered. Blue checkmark. She exhaled, setting the phone down and pulling the blanket tighter around her shoulders. The bookshop would open tomorrow at 9, same as always. She'd make coffee, straighten shelves, ring up the occasional customer. The rhythm of it kept her afloat, even if it didn't make her happy. The phone buzzed. I think you have the wrong number. Iris's stomach dropped. She grabbed the phone, cheeks flushing. Oh God, she'd copied the wrong number. She started typing an apology, but another message came through. But I haven't heard someone say they miss me in a very long time. She blinked at the screen. That was unexpected. A small smile tugged at her lips despite herself. I'm so sorry. My friend got a new number, and I'm apparently terrible at copy-paste. I'll let you get back to your Friday night. My Friday night involves paperwork and silence. You're not interrupting anything worth protecting. There was something in those words, a loneliness that mirrored her own. Before she could stop herself, she typed back. Paperwork on a Friday night? Either you're very dedicated or very alone. Can't it be both? She laughed, actually laughed, for the first time in days. This stranger, whoever they were, had just made her feel something other than numb. Fair point. I'm eating cold takeout on my couch in pajamas, so I'm not exactly living my best life either. Across the city, in a penthouse that cost more than most people made in a lifetime, Kade Volkov stared at his phone. The office was silent except for the whisper of expensive air conditioning. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the glittering sprawl of the city, a city that feared him, obeyed him, bled for him, on. His desk sat reports that needed his signature. Territorial disputes, shipment manifests, a list of names that would disappear by morning. This was his empire, built on his father's bones, maintained with iron and blood. And he was so goddamn tired of it. The text had appeared in the middle of him reading about a traitor in his ranks, someone who'd been skimming profits who would need to be made an example of. Coffee tomorrow. I miss you. Wrong number. Obvious. He should have ignored it. But that word, miss, had stopped him cold. No one missed Kade Volkov. They feared him, obeyed him, wanted things from him. But miss him? The last person who genuinely missed him had been his sister, Natalia. She'd been 12 when she died, caught in crossfire meant for him. That was 15 years ago. He'd responded without thinking. And now this stranger, this woman, based on the name at the top of the thread, was telling him about cold takeout and loneliness, and something in his chest was cracking open in a way that felt dangerous. What are you eating? He typed. Thai food from 3 days ago. Don't judge me. I'm judging you. That's a health hazard. Are you always this bossy with strangers? Always, he wrote, and realized he was almost smiling. His phone buzzed with another message. Well, mystery person, thanks for making my pathetic Friday slightly less pathetic. I should let you get back to your paperwork. Sorry again for the confusion. He should let her go. This was insane. He ran a criminal empire. He didn't chat with civilians who texted the wrong number, but his fingers moved anyway. Don't apologize. Sometimes mistakes are the only honest things we get. A long pause, then. That's either very wise or very sad. Both, he replied. Another pause. He could almost feel her thinking through the screen. Okay, Mystery paperwork person, since we're both apparently lonely and awake, tell me something true. What's one thing you wish was different about your life? Kade's jaw tightened. The truth was a luxury he couldn't afford. The truth was that he wished he could walk away from all of it. The violence, the paranoia, the weight of his name. He wished he could be someone else. Somewhere else. Someone who deserved soft things. But he couldn't say that. I wish I remembered how to feel something other than tired, he typed instead. The reply came quickly. Yeah, me too. And in that moment, in the silence of his fortress and the quiet of her loneliness, two ghosts reached across the void and almost touched. Have you ever had a wrong number moment that changed everything? What would you do if a simple mistake brought someone unexpected into your life? Drop your thoughts below. I'd love to hear your stories. The conversation continued for another hour. Iris told him about her bookshop, how she'd inherited it from her grandmother, how the smell of old pages was the only thing that made her feel grounded anymore. He told her about insomnia, about how the city looked from high places, about preferring silence to the noise of people who only wanted something from him. They didn't exchange names. Somehow that made it easier, like they were playing pretend, trying on honesty without consequence. Do you ever feel like you're watching your own life happen instead of living it? She typed, curled deeper into the couch cushions. Every single day, he replied. What would it take to feel real again? Kade stared at that question for a long time. His thumb hovered over the keyboard. What would it take to walk away from everything, to find someone who didn't know his name, didn't fear it, to touch something soft and not destroy it? I don't know if people like me get to feel real, he wrote finally. People like you. People who've made too many wrong choices to deserve the right ones. Her response came quickly. I don't believe that. I think we're all just trying to survive our own wars. Some of us just have louder battles. Something in his chest twisted. When was the last time someone had defended him, even hypothetically, even without knowing who he was? You sound like someone who survived her own war, he typed. Surviving isn't the same as living, she replied, but I'm trying to remember the difference. He was about to respond when his phone buzzed with an incoming text from another number, his second-in-command, Rook. We have a problem. That new shipment route, someone's talking, need you to make the call. Kate's jaw clenched. Business. Always business. Blood and decisions and the weight of the crown he'd never wanted but couldn't put down. He switched back to Iris's thread. I have to go. Work. At midnight? Your boss is cruel. You have no idea, he wrote, a dark smile touching his lips. Well, mystery person, this was nice. Weird, but nice. Thanks for reminding me that strangers can still be kind. His fingers hesitated over the keyboard. He should end it here. Clean break. She'd forget about him by morning, go back to her quiet life, find her friend's actual number, safe, smart. But then she sent another message. If you ever need someone to tell your 3-day-old takeout to, you have my number now, even if it was an accident. And before he could stop himself, before the logical part of his brain could intervene, he typed, Same, if you need someone at midnight. Good night, mystery person. Good night. He stared at the screen long after it went dark, her name glowing at the top of the thread, Iris Morgan. It would be so easy to find out everything about her. One call to his tech guy, 5 minutes, and he'd have her address, her history, her social security number. But something stopped him. This fragile, honest thing between them. It required the dark. The moment he turned on the lights, it would shatter. He set the phone down and returned to the reports on his desk, but the words blurred together. 3 days passed. Iris thought about the stranger, more than she should have. She told herself it was just because he'd been kind, because loneliness made you cling to scraps of connection. But late at night, she'd pull up their conversation and read it again, remembering what it felt like to laugh, to be honest, to feel seen. On Tuesday evening, she was closing up the bookshop when her phone died. She groaned, digging through her purse for her portable charger, and realized she'd left it at home. She had a delivery coming tonight, some vintage furniture she'd ordered online. The seller needed her address confirmed. She borrowed the shop's computer, pulled up her messages through the cloud interface, and started typing the address to what she thought was the seller's number. But her fingers were clumsy, her mind distracted by the memory of midnight conversations. She clicked the wrong thread. Sent. Didn't realize. She locked up the shop, walked the 3 blocks home to her small rental house, and plugged in her phone. It took 2 minutes to boot up. 7 missed messages, all from him. Mystery person, is this your real address? Iris, answer me. Delete that message now. Do you have security, cameras, locks? Don't open the door for anyone. I'm coming. Don't be scared. Her heart hammered against her ribs. What the hell? She scrolled up, saw her message. Her full address, sent 3 hours ago. Oh God. She'd meant to send it to the furniture seller, but the sound of engines cut through the quiet street. Iris moved to the window, pulling back the curtain. Her breath caught in her throat. 3 black SUVs, sleek and menacing, were pulling up in front of her house. She watched, frozen, as men in dark suits stepped out. 4, 5, 6 of them. They moved with military precision, scanning the street, hands resting near their jackets where she could see the bulge of weapons. No, she whispered. No, no, no. One of them spoke into a radio. Another moved toward her front door. Then a 7th figure emerged from the middle SUV, tall, broad-shouldered, dark hair, sharp jawline, eyes that could cut glass even from a distance. He wore a black coat that probably cost more than her car, and he moved like violence was a language he spoke fluently. He said something to the men. They fanned out, surrounding her house, and then he walked toward her front door. Iris's phone buzzed in her trembling hand. Mystery person, it's me. Open the door. Her knees nearly gave out. The kind stranger who talked to her about loneliness and cold takeout. He'd just arrived at her house with an army. Another knock, firm but not aggressive. Her mind raced. She could call the police and tell them what? That she'd texted her address to someone and now he'd shown up. With her fingers shaking, she moved toward the door. Every instinct screamed at her to run, but where would she go? They had the house surrounded. She unlocked the deadbolt, cracked the door open 6 inches, chain still on, and looked up into the face of the most dangerous man she'd ever seen. His eyes, ice blue, piercing, locked onto hers. There was recognition there and something else, relief, concern. Iris Morgan, he said, and his voice was the same one she'd imagined during their midnight texts, deep, controlled, but with an edge of something raw underneath. We need to talk. Who are you? Her voice came out barely above a whisper. His jaw tightened. Deepened. My name is Kade Volkov, and you just made yourself visible to some very dangerous people. The name hit her like ice water. Volkov. She'd heard that name, everyone in the city had, whispered in back rooms, mentioned in news reports that never quite said what everyone knew. The Volkov family controlled half the underground in 3 states. Drugs, weapons, money laundering. They were ghosts that everyone feared and no one crossed. And she'd been texting their king. Oh my God, she breathed. I know you're scared, Kade said, his voice lower now, almost gentle. But I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here because you exposed yourself, your address, your name. If I found you this easily, others can too. People who'd use you to get to me. I don't know you, she stammered. This was just a wrong number. I know. Something flickered in his eyes. But we talked. They'll find that, and they'll assume you mean something to me. Do I? The question escaped before she could stop it. He stared at her for a long moment, and she saw something crack in that icy facade, something human and aching and terrified. Yes, he said quietly, and that's the problem. Behind him, one of the men spoke urgently into his radio. Kade's head snapped toward him, then back to Iris. We don't have time. Someone's already traced your location. You need to come with me. Now. I'm not going anywhere with you. Panic surged through her. Iris. He stepped closer to the crack in the door, and she could see the desperation in his face now. Please, I know I'm asking you to trust a monster, but I swear on everything I have left, I will keep you safe. Just give me 24 hours to fix this. A car engine roared in the distance, getting closer. Kade's expression darkened. That's them. Decide. Now! Iris's mind spun. Every rational thought screamed at her to slam the door, call the police, take her chances. But something in his eyes, that same loneliness she'd heard in his words, that same exhaustion, made her pause. You texted me about cold takeout, she whispered. You said mistakes were the only honest things we get. I meant it, he said. She took a shaking breath and opened the door, in the comments, would you have opened that door? When fear and instinct collide with an impossible connection, what would you do? The moment Iris stepped outside, Kade's hand went to the small of her back, not grabbing, just guiding. The touch burned through her thin sweater. "Get her in the car," he said to one of his men. "Secure the perimeter." "Wait." Iris pulled back. "I need my phone, my charger, I need to lock." "Already done." He held up her phone and a small bag. "Grab the essentials while you were deciding. Your house is locked. We need to move." Distant engine was closer now, 2 blocks away, maybe less. Kade's hand pressed more firmly against her back, propelling her toward the middle SUV. Another man opened the door. The leather interior smelled expensive and foreign. She climbed in, and Kade slid in beside her, filling the space with his presence. The door slammed. The engine roared to life. "Go," Kade said. "Route 7. Lose anyone following." The SUV peeled away from the curb as another car, a dark sedan with tinted windows, screeched around the corner behind them. Iris's hands gripped the leather seat as the driver accelerated, weaving through residential streets with precision that suggested this wasn't his first chase. "Put your seatbelt on," Kade said quietly. She stared at him. "You just kidnapped me and you're worried about my seatbelt." "You came willingly." His eyes stayed fixed on the road behind them, tracking the sedan through the rear window. "And yes, I'm worried about your seatbelt. Humor me." Her hands shook as she buckled it. The absurdity crashed over her. She was in a car with a Mafia boss running from God knows who because she'd sent a text to the wrong number. "This is insane," she whispered. "Yes, I should have called the police. They can't protect you from this." His voice was flat, matter of fact. "The people following us, they don't care about badges or laws. They'd burn down your house with you in it to make a point." Iris's stomach turned. "What point?" "That I'm not untouchable." He finally looked at her, and the intensity in his gaze made her breath catch. "That I care about something, that's a weakness they can exploit." "You don't even know me." "No," he agreed. "But I knew enough. Enough to keep texting you. Enough to feel something other than numb for 3 days. And in my world, that's enough to get you killed." The SUV took a hard right, throwing Iris against the door despite the seatbelt. Through the back window, she watched the sedan struggle to follow, falling behind. "We lost them," the driver said. "Don't slow down," Kade replied. "Take the long route. Make sure." Silence filled the car, except for the hum of the engine and the whisper of tires on asphalt. Iris's mind raced, trying to process what was happening. This morning she'd been shelving books. Tonight she was running for her life because of a man she'd never met, who'd somehow become important in the space of midnight confessions and shared loneliness. "I want to go home," she said finally, voice small. "You can't. Not yet." "You said 24 hours. "I did. And I meant it." He pulled out his phone, typed something quickly. "I have people sweeping your house for bugs, cameras, anything that could compromise you. I have others tracking who sent that sedan. Once I know the scope of the threat, I'll neutralize it. Then you can go home." "Neutralize it," she repeated hollowly. "You mean kill them?" His jaw tightened, but he didn't deny it. "I mean make sure they can never touch you again. I don't want people to die because of me. They won't die because of you." His voice went cold, hard. "They'll die because they threatened what's mine. I'm not yours." Anger flared through the fear. "I don't belong to you. I'm not some possession you can claim because we had a few nice conversations." "You're right." He turned to face her fully, and something in his expression shifted, became raw. "You're not mine. You're someone who deserves to live a quiet life with your books and your grief and your healing. And I'm someone who destroys everything I touch. But the moment you sent that address, the moment my enemies saw your name in my phone, you became a target. So whether you like it or not, whether I like it or not, I'm all that stands between you and people who will hurt you to hurt me." Iris's breath came in sharp gasps. Tears burned behind her eyes, frustration, terror, and something else she didn't want to name. "I didn't ask for this," she whispered. "I know." His voice gentled. "Neither did I, but here we are." The SUV turned onto a private road, trees thick on either side. In the distance, a house emerged. No, not a house, an estate. Sprawling, modern, surrounded by high walls and security cameras. "Where are we?" Iris asked. "Somewhere safe, somewhere no one can find you." The car stopped in front of massive doors. Kade's men were already there, opening doors, checking perimeters. He stepped out first, then offered his hand to help her. She ignored it, climbing out on her own. Her legs shook, but she forced herself to stand straight. Kade's lips twitched, almost a smile. "Stubborn." "Terrified," she corrected. "Both," he said, echoing their first conversation. And despite everything, despite the fear coursing through her veins, she felt that same pull, that recognition of a kindred spirit drowning in their own life. "Come inside," Kate said. "I'll explain everything. And then, if you still want me to take you home and disappear from your life, I will." "You promise?" He held her gaze. "I promise. But Iris, you need to understand what you're walking away from if you go. They've seen your face now. They know your address. Even if I'm not in your life, they might still come for you, just in case." The weight of that crushed down on her. "So I'm trapped. Either I stay with you or I spend the rest of my life looking over my shoulder. I'll have you protected either way," he said quietly. "But yes, the simple answer is, your life changed the moment you sent that text. I'm sorry." She wanted to scream, to cry, to wake up and find this was all a nightmare. Instead, she wrapped her arms around herself and followed him into the house, into the lair of the monster who'd somehow become her only lifeline. The house was beautiful in a cold, untouchable way. Marble floors, vaulted ceilings, floor-to-ceiling windows that overlooked a private lake. Art on the walls that probably cost 6 figures each. Everything was pristine, expensive, empty. It looked like a showroom, not a home. "Guest room is upstairs, second door on the left," Kate said, shrugging out of his coat. Without it, he looked slightly less intimidating. Black shirt, sleeves rolled to his elbows, revealing forearms marked with scars and ink. "You'll have your own bathroom. I'll have someone bring you clothes." "I don't need your clothes. You need something other than what you're wearing." His eyes flicked to her outfit. Old jeans, a bookshop t-shirt with a coffee stain. "Unless you plan to wear that for 24 hours. She flushed. "Fine, thank you." He nodded toward the kitchen. "There's food. Help yourself. The security code is... Actually, you don't need it. You can't leave anyway. Guards are outside every exit. So I'm a prisoner. You're protected." He moved toward a hallway, then paused. "There's a library. Third door on the right. Since you like books." That stopped her. "You have a library?" Something softened in his face. "Belonged to my mother. No one's touched it in years. But it's there." Before she could respond, he disappeared down the hall, leaving her alone in the cavernous space. Iris stood frozen for a long moment, trying to process the surreal nightmare her life had become. Then, because she didn't know what else to do, she climbed the stairs and found the guest room. It was larger than her entire apartment. King-sized bed, silk sheets, a sitting area with a view of the lake. The bathroom had heated floors and a rain shower. A bag sat on the bed, her bag, she realized. The one Kade had grabbed from her house. Inside, her phone charger, a change of clothes, her toothbrush. He'd grabbed her toothbrush. This man, this dangerous, terrifying man, had thought to pack her toothbrush. Something about that detail broke through the shock. She sat on the edge of the bed and let herself cry. Not sobs, just quiet tears sliding down her face as 2 years of numbness and one night of terror finally cracked her open. An hour later, showered and dressed in the spare clothes Kate's people had provided, soft loungewear that fit perfectly, which was somehow more disturbing than comforting, Iris ventured back downstairs. The house was quiet. She could hear voices somewhere distant, Kate's low rumble giving orders. She followed the sound, then stopped when she heard her name. Iris Morgan, 28, owns Riverside Books on 4th Street. No criminal record, no outstanding debts. Parents deceased, no siblings. Fiancé died 2 years ago, car accident. She's clean boss, just wrong place, wrong number. Any connection to Resnick's crew? Kate's voice, sharp. None. She's a civilian, a ghost really, keeps to herself. Good. I want 3 men on her house 24/7 once she goes back. Rotate shifts and find out who sent that sedan. I want names by morning. Boss, if I can ask, why? She's nobody. We could just relocate her, pay her off. Because I said so. The ice in Kate's tone could freeze blood. And if you question me again, you'll be the one relocated. Permanently. Clear? Crystal boss. Iris backed away before they could catch her eavesdropping. She wandered until she found the library and stopped in the doorway, breath catching. It was beautiful. 2 stories of books, a spiral staircase connecting them, leather chairs near a fireplace that hadn't been lit in what looked like years. Dust covered some of the shelves, but the books themselves were pristine. Classics, poetry, philosophy. Someone had loved this room once. She ran her fingers along the spines, losing herself in titles. Here, surrounded by stories, she could almost forget where she was. My mother read to me from those. Iris spun. Kade stood in the doorway, still in his black shirt, hands in his pockets. He looked tired, the hard edges of his face slightly softer in the dim light. She taught me that words were the only weapons that could build instead of destroy. He continued, stepping into the room. Died when I was 16. Cancer. I'm sorry, Iris said quietly. He shrugged. Long time ago. Different life. He moved to the fireplace, pressed something, and flames sprang to life. You should eat. It's been hours. I'm not hungry. You need to eat anyway. Stop telling me what I need, she snapped. 2 years of grief and 1 night of terror finally boiling over. You don't know me. You don't get to decide what I need or where I go or what I do. You might run your criminal empire with absolute control, but I'm not one of your soldiers. He watched her with those unsettling blue eyes, expression unreadable. Then slowly, he nodded. You're right. I'm sorry. He moved toward the door. I'll have food brought up to your room. You can eat or not eat, your choice. Wait. She didn't know why she stopped him. Why are you doing this? Really? You could have just warned me over text, told me to be careful. Why come to my house? Why bring me here? He paused, back to her, shoulders tense. When he spoke, his voice was so quiet she almost didn't hear it, because for 3 days, talking to you was the only time I felt human. And I couldn't let them take that away, even if it meant you'd hate me for it. He left before she could respond. Iris stood alone in the library, surrounded by dead dreams and dusty memories, and realized that Kade Volkov, the monster everyone feared, was just as lonely as she was, maybe more. She found him an hour later in the kitchen, of all places. He stood at the stove, stirring something in a pot, sleeves still rolled up, hair slightly disheveled. The domesticity of it was jarring against everything else about him. You cook? She asked from the doorway. He didn't startle, just glanced over his shoulder. Surprised? Yes, my mother taught me. Said a man who can't feed himself is useless. He turned back to the stove. It's just pasta, nothing fancy, but it's better than 3-day-old takeout. Despite herself, Iris smiled. Low bar. I'm told I excel at meeting low bars. She moved into the kitchen, drawn by the smell, garlic, tomatoes, basil. Real food. Her stomach growled traitorously. Kade heard it. Sit. I can. Iris, please. Let me do this one thing that doesn't involve violence or threats. Let me make you dinner. The vulnerability in that request stopped her protests. She sat at the island watching as he moved with surprising grace around the kitchen. He plated the pasta, drizzled olive oil, added fresh parmesan, set it in front of her with a fork. Thank you, she said quietly. He nodded, made a plate for himself, and sat across from her. For a few minutes, they ate in silence. The pasta was good, really good. Homemade sauce, perfectly al dente noodles. Your mother taught you well, Iris said. She tried to teach me a lot of things. I failed at most of them. He twirled pasta around his fork. She wanted me to be a teacher. Can you imagine? I can actually. Iris took a sip of water. You have a way of explaining things. In your texts, you made me feel heard. He looked up at her, something raw flickering across his face. You did the same for me. Why? The question came out before she could stop it. Why did you keep texting me? You could have ignored that first message. Should have. Kade set down his fork. Because you said you missed someone. And I realized I couldn't remember the last time I'd been missed. Not feared, not needed, not used. Missed. He met her eyes. And then you were funny and honest, and you didn't want anything from me because you didn't know who I was. It was the first real conversation I'd had in 15 years. Iris's throat tightened. I felt the same way, like I was talking to someone who understood what it meant to be a ghost in your own life. We're quite a pair, aren't we? A bitter smile touched his lips. Two ghosts who found each other by accident. Maybe not an accident, Iris said softly. Maybe the universe knew we both needed someone to see us. Kate stared at her for a long moment. Then he stood abruptly, taking his plate to the sink. You should get some sleep. Tomorrow we'll know more about the threat. I'll have answers by then. Kate, good night, Iris. He left before she could say whatever she'd been about to say, though she wasn't sure herself what that was. She finished her pasta alone in his kitchen in his empty house and wondered how someone could be surrounded by so much and still have nothing at all. Iris couldn't sleep. The bed was too soft, the house too quiet, her mind too loud with questions and fear, and that impossible pull toward a man she should despise. At 2 a.m., she gave up, wrapped herself in the plush robe hanging in the bathroom and padded downstairs. She found Kade in the library. He sat in one of the leather chairs, facing the fireplace, a glass of amber liquid in one hand, his phone in the other. He'd changed into black sweats and a t-shirt, looking more human than she'd seen him. Dark circles shadowed his eyes. Can't sleep either, she asked quietly. He looked up, not surprised to see her. Sleep is a luxury I don't often afford. Too many enemies, too many nightmares. May I? She gestured to the chair beside him. He nodded. Iris curled up in the chair, pulling the rope tighter. The fire crackled between them, painting shadows across the walls. Tell me about her, Iris said. Natalia, your sister. Kate's hand tightened on his glass. For a long moment, she thought he wouldn't answer. Then, she was 12, bright, loud, everything I wasn't. She loved horses and terrible pop music, and she used to leave me notes under my door. Stupid jokes, drawings, reminders that she loved me. His voice cracked on the last word. She was everything good in our family, everything worth protecting. What happened? My father made enemies, lots of them. One decided the best way to hurt him was through his children. He took a drink, jaw tight. They came for me. I was 20, already involved in the business, already stained, but I wasn't home that day. Natalia was. Iris's heart clenched. Oh, Kade. They shot her in the driveway. Thought she was me. We had the same dark hair, similar build from a distance. By the time I got there, he stopped, swallowing hard. She died in my arms. Kept saying she was sorry, like it was her fault for looking like me. Tears slid down Iris's face. I'm so sorry. My father killed the men responsible, slowly. Then he told me that love was a liability, that caring about anyone made you weak, made you vulnerable. He said if I wanted to survive in this world, I needed to bury everything soft. Kade finally looked at her, and the pain in his eyes was staggering. So I did. For 15 years, I did. I became exactly what he wanted. Cold, efficient, untouchable. And I told myself it was better this way. But it wasn't, Iris whispered. No, it was just lonely. He set down his glass. And then you texted me about coffee and missing people, and for 3 days, I remembered what it felt like to be human, to want something other than survival. Iris's hands trembled. I know about burying yourself, about becoming a ghost because it's easier than feeling. Your fiancé, Kate said quietly. Owen. She nodded, wiping her eyes. We were supposed to get married in the spring. He went out to pick up dinner one night, Chinese food, my favorite, and a drunk driver ran a red light. Her voice broke. They said he died instantly, like that's supposed to make it better, like instant somehow means painless. How long had you been together? 6 years. High school sweethearts, college, the whole fairy tale. She laughed bitterly. Except fairy tales don't end with police officers at your door at 9 p.m. telling you the person you love most is gone. Kade leaned forward, elbows on his knees. What was he like? Kind, patient. He worked with kids, special education. He believed people were fundamentally good, that the world could be better if we just tried harder. She smiled through her tears. He would have hated knowing I've spent 2 years just existing. He always said life was too short to waste on sadness. He sounds like someone Natalia would have liked. They would have been friends. Iris looked at Kade. She would have been 27 now. What do you think she'd be doing? Kade's expression softened. Veterinarian probably, or maybe running a horse rescue, something where she got to save things. And he paused. She would have hated what I became. I don't think so, Iris said. I think she would have seen what I see. Someone who's trying so hard to protect everyone else that he forgot to protect himself. I'm not worth protecting, Iris. Everyone is worth protecting. She stood, moved to his chair, and did something that surprised them both. She took his scarred hand in hers. You made me pasta. You packed my toothbrush. You keep telling me I can leave, but you're terrified something will happen to me. Those aren't the actions of a monster. Kade stared at their joined hands. I've killed people, ordered deaths, built an empire on blood and fear. I know, and I should be terrified of you. She squeezed his hand. But all I see is someone who's been surviving his own war for so long. He forgot there could be peace. He looked up at her, and something in his carefully constructed walls crumbled. I don't know how to be anything else. Maybe you don't have to be anything else. Maybe you just have to let yourself be human, even if it's just for a moment. For a long heartbeat, they stayed like that. Her standing, him sitting, hands joined, the fire crackling between their broken pieces. Then Kade did something she didn't expect. He raised her hand to his lips and pressed a kiss to her knuckles, soft, reverent, achingly gentle. Thank you, he whispered, for seeing me, even when you shouldn't. Iris's breath caught. Thank you for pulling me out of the grave I'd been living in. They sat together until dawn, talking about their lost loved ones, about the weight of grief, about what it meant to survive when you'd already died inside. And somewhere in those quiet hours, something shifted between them, from captor and captive, from monster and victim, to two people who'd been drowning alone and finally found someone to hold on to. Morning came with sunlight streaming through the library windows and the smell of coffee. Iris woke curled in the leather chair, a blanket draped over her. Kade stood by the window, phone to his ear, his voice low and dangerous. I don't care what excuses he has. If he's the leak, I want him found. Today. He paused, listening. No killing. Not yet. I want to talk to him first. Another pause. Because I said so, Rook. That's the only reason you need. He ended the call and turned, catching Iris watching him. The hard edges of his face softened immediately. Morning, he said. Coffee? Please. She stood stretching, trying to ignore how domestic this felt. Waking up in his space, him offering her coffee like they did this every day. He poured her a cup, remembered she took it black from the texts. The fact that he remembered made her chest ache. Any news? She asked, taking the mug gratefully. Some. The sedan was hired muscle. Local thugs paid to follow you, report your location. They didn't know who hired them, just a dead drop and cash. We're tracing it, but... He ran a hand through his hair. It's going to take longer than 24 hours. Iris's stomach dropped. So I can't go home. Not yet. I'm sorry. He met her eyes. But you're safe here, I promise. For how long? As long as it takes. She should have been angry, terrified. Instead, she just felt tired. Okay. Okay? He looked surprised. What choice do I have? She took a sip of coffee. Besides, you make good pasta. Could be worse prisons. A small smile tugged at his lips. High praise. Don't let it go to your head. She set down her mug. So what do we do now? Sit around and wait? I have work. Calls to make, people to terrify, empires to run. He studied her. You can use the library, or there's a TV room, or... Teach me, she said suddenly. Teach you what? To make your mother's pasta. You said she taught you. Teach me. Kade stared at her, like she'd suggested they fly to the moon. Why? Because I'm going crazy with nothing to do, because cooking is better than sitting alone with my thoughts, and because, she hesitated, because you light up when you talk about her, and I want to see that again. Something vulnerable flickered across his face. You're serious? Completely. He was quiet for a long moment. Then, okay, this afternoon, after I handle some business. It's a date. She froze. Not a... I didn't mean... I know what you meant. But the smile that touched his lips suggested he didn't mind the slip. Noon. Meet me in the kitchen. At noon exactly, Iris found Kade in the kitchen, ingredients laid out on the counter. He changed into jeans and a simple black Henley, sleeves pushed up to reveal those scarred forearms. "Ready?" he asked. "To learn from a mafia boss how to make pasta?" "Sure." Totally normal Saturday. He huffed a laugh, the first real one she'd heard from him. First rule, the sauce is everything. You can buy decent pasta, but the sauce has to be made with love or it's garbage. Love. That's your secret ingredient. My mother's words, not mine. He set a pot on the stove. But yes, she said you can taste it when someone cares about what they're making. He walked her through it, crushing garlic with the side of a knife, heating olive oil until it shimmered, adding crushed tomatoes and fresh basil. His hands moved with practiced ease, and he stood close enough that she could feel his warmth, smell cedar and something darker, more dangerous. "Now you try," he said, stepping back. Iris took the wooden spoon, stirring carefully. "Like this?" More confident. "Don't be afraid of it." His hand covered hers, guiding the movement. "There, see?" She did see, but she was more aware of his hand on hers, his chest against her back, the way his breath ghosted across her neck. "Kade," she whispered. "Yeah? Why does this feel so normal? Being here with you, it shouldn't. I should hate you." His hand tightened on hers. "I know. I tell myself the same thing, that I should let you go, that I'm selfish for keeping you here. But I can't. Not yet." She turned in his arms, and they were inches apart. His eyes, ice blue and infinite, searched hers. "You have flour on your cheek," he said quietly. "Do I?" He raised his hand, thumb brushing her cheekbone with devastating gentleness. "There." Neither of them moved. The sauce bubbled behind them. The world narrowed to this moment. This breath, this touch, this impossible thing growing between them. "I haven't felt this alive in 2 years," Iris whispered. "I haven't felt this human in 15, Kade replied. "What are we doing?" "Something stupid, something dangerous." His thumb traced her jaw. "Something that might be the only real thing either of us has felt in years." "Kade." His phone rang, shattering the moment. He stepped back, jaw clenched, and answered. "What?" His expression darkened as he listened. "When? Are you sure?" A pause. "No. Double the security. No one in or out without my direct approval." He ended the call, running a hand over his face. "What is it?" Iris asked, fear creeping back in. "They found the leak. One of my men, someone I trusted, has been feeding information to Resnick's crew, including information about you." "What does that mean?" Kade met her eyes, and she saw something she hadn't seen before. Fear. Not for himself, for her. "It means they know exactly where you are, and they're coming. What would you sacrifice for a connection that feels real? When everything you know says to run, but your heart says stay, where do you draw the line? Tell me in the comments what you think Iris should do." The safe house wasn't safe anymore. Kade's phone exploded with calls. Rook coordinating security, other lieutenants reporting movements, everyone scrambling. Iris stood frozen in the kitchen, watching him transform from the gentleman who taught her to make pasta into the ruthless leader everyone feared. "Lock down every entry point," he barked. "Activate the perimeter alarms. Get the West team here now. I don't care if they're off rotation." He looked at Iris, and for a split second the mask slipped. "Iris, you need to go upstairs. There's a panic room behind the bookshelf in the master bedroom. I need you to." "No." Her voice shook but held firm. "I'm not hiding while people die because of me. This isn't a debate. You're right, it's not." She crossed her arms. "You said I wasn't a prisoner. You said I had choices. So I'm choosing to stay here and face whatever's coming." "God damn it, Iris!" His control cracked. "Do you understand what these people do? They won't just kill you, they'll make you suffer to punish me. They'll tear you apart piece by piece while I watch, and there won't be anything I can do to stop it." The raw terror in his voice stopped her. "Then don't let it get to that point." "I'm trying." He slammed his hand on the counter and she flinched. He saw it, and something in him broke. I'm sorry, I can't lose someone else. Not you, not because of me." Before she could respond, Rook burst through the door, tall, scarred, with eyes that had seen too much death. "Boss, they're moving. 15 men, maybe more, heavily armed. They'll be here in 10 minutes. How did they get past the outer checkpoints? Rook's expression turned grim. They didn't come through the checkpoints. They came through the lake, boats. Kade's face went white. The lake, of course. He turned to Rook. Get everyone in defensive positions. No one fires unless I give the order. And get Iris to the panic room. I already told you. I don't care what you told me. His voice ricocheted off the walls. I am trying to keep you alive, you stubborn, infuriating woman. Why won't you just let me protect you? Because I'm tired of being protected, Iris shouted back. Owen protected me. Everyone protected me after he died. They treated me like I was made of glass, like I'd shatter if they breathed wrong. And you know what? I did shatter. I broke into a million pieces, and I've been pretending to be whole ever since. But at least with you, I feel something real. Even if it's fear, even if it's anger. I'm not going to hide in a room while you face this alone. This isn't about you feeling alive, Sadas, Kade roared. This is about you staying alive. Then maybe that's the same thing. They stared at each other, both breathing hard. The space between them crackling with fury and fear and something too big to name. Rook cleared his throat. Boss, we need a decision. Kade closed his eyes, jaw working. When he opened them, they were cold, the monster back in place. Put her in the panic room. Use force if necessary. What? Iris's stomach dropped. Kade. No. I'm sorry. He looked at Rook. Do it. Rook moved toward her. Iris backed away, betrayal burning through her chest. Don't touch me. Kade, don't do this. I have to. His voice was dead. Because if I don't, and something happens to you, I'll burn this whole city to the ground, and I'm barely holding on to enough humanity as it is. So that's it. You just lock me away like a possession, like something you own. If that's what it takes to keep you breathing, yes. Rook grabbed her arm, not roughly but firmly. She struggled, tears streaming down her face. I thought you were different, she spat at Kade. I thought you were more than just a monster in expensive clothes, but you're exactly what everyone says you are, a cold, controlling bastard who only cares about power. Something flickered in Kade's eyes, pain, regret, but his expression stayed frozen. You're right, I am, and you should have listened to your instincts from the beginning. Kade, get her out of here, he told Rook. Now. As Rook dragged her toward the stairs, Iris looked back at Kade one last time. He stood alone in the kitchen, hands braced on the counter, shoulders rigid. Even from a distance, she could see him shaking. I hate you, she screamed, even though it wasn't true, even though her heart was breaking. He didn't respond, didn't look at her, just stood there like a statue as Rook pulled her away. The panic room was small, soundproof, and luxurious in the way that only extreme wealth could afford. Reinforced walls, supplies for days, monitors showing every angle of the property. Rook deposited her inside with an apologetic look. I'm sorry, Miss Morgan. Boss's orders. Please, Iris whispered, tears streaming down her face. Please don't leave me in here. I can't be locked away again. But the door was already closing, the lock engaging with a soft click that sounded like a gunshot. Iris collapsed against the wall, hugging her knees to her chest. Through the monitors, she could see Kade's men taking positions on the roof, by the windows, along the perimeter. And in the kitchen, still alone, stood Kade. She watched as he finally moved, pouring himself a drink with shaking hands, watched him drain it in one swallow, watched him grip the counter like it was the only thing keeping him upright. Then he looked up, directly at the camera, and she saw it. The anguish, the fear, the love he wouldn't admit even to himself. Her anger cracked, and underneath was something far more complicated. On the monitors, headlights appeared through the trees. The boats had docked. Men in tactical gear emerged, weapons raised, and Kade walked out to meet them alone. Iris's hands pressed against the monitor as she watched Kade step onto the front lawn, unarmed, shoulders squared. 15 men surrounded him. At the center stood a man she didn't recognize, tall, sharp-featured, with the kind of cruelty that lived in his smile. The monitors had audio. She could hear everything. Volkov the bear, the man said. Bold of you to come out alone, or stupid, I can never tell with you. Resnick, Kade's voice was ice. You're trespassing. Am I? Seems to me you're harboring something that belongs to everyone. Information. Your little girlfriend has been very enlightening. All those texts, those sweet confessions. My tech guy had a field day. Iris's stomach turned. They'd read everything, every vulnerable word. "She's not involved in this," Kade said. "Whatever problem you have, it's with me. Let her walk away." Resnick laughed. "You really do care about her. That's adorable and incredibly stupid." He raised his gun, pointing it at Kade's chest. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to tell me where your offshore accounts are. You're going to sign over your territories, and then you're going to die knowing that I'll find the girl anyway, and I'll make her pay for every second of defiance you've ever shown me." "No deal," Kade said flatly. "Then I shoot you and find her myself. Either way, I win." "You won't find her," Kade smiled, cold and vicious. "The panic room is unbreachable. Even if you kill me and every man here, she'll be safe. And then my people, who are far more loyal than yours, will hunt you to the ends of the earth. You'll never sleep soundly again." Big words from a man with 15 guns pointed at him. Want to test them? The tension stretched like a wire about to snap. In the panic room, Iris made her decision. She couldn't let him die for her. Not Kade, who'd made her feel human again, who'd taught her to cook with love, who'd seen her grief and matched it with his own, who was broken and dangerous and somehow exactly what she needed. Her fingers flew across the control panel. The panic room had an emergency override. She'd seen Rook enter the code. 6 digits. She tried his birthday from the file she'd glimpsed. Nothing. Tried Natalia's. Nothing. Then she remembered. The library. His mother's library, the one place he'd shown vulnerability. She tried the date carved into the fireplace mantle. 08-1509. His mother's death. The lock disengaged. Iris ran. She burst through the front door just as Resnick's finger tightened on the trigger. "Stop!" Every head turned. Kade's face went white. "Iris, no. I'm what you want, right?" She walked forward on trembling legs, hands raised. "Me. The leverage. So here I am. Let him go." "Iris, get back inside." Kade started forward, but 3 guns swung toward him. "Stay where you are, Volkov," Resnick said, grinning. Well, the princess leaves her tower. How romantic." Iris stopped 10 feet from Resnick, her heart hammering so hard she thought it might burst. "I'll come with you, willingly. Just let him and his men live." "Iris, don't." Kade's voice cracked. "Don't do this, please." She looked at him, memorizing his face, the sharp jaw, the ice blue eyes now burning with fear and fury and something that looked like love. "You saved me," she said softly. "Let me save you." "I don't want to be saved. I want you safe. I know. But sometimes we don't get what we want." She turned to Resnick. "Do we have a deal?" Resnick studied her, then Kade, then laughed. "Oh, this is delicious." The ruthless Volkov, brought to his knees by a bookshop owner. My men would never believe it. He grabbed Iris's arm, yanking her close. "Deal. She comes with me. You live. But Volkov, consider your empire over. Word will spread that you traded power for pussy. You'll be a laughingstock. No one will fear you again." "I don't care," Kade said hoarsely. "Take the empire. Take everything. Just don't hurt her." "Kade, no." Iris struggled against Resnick's grip. "It's fine." Kade's eyes locked onto hers, and she saw everything he couldn't say. "It's all fine. Just..." "Iris, I'm sorry. For the panic room. For being a controlling bastard. For not being brave enough to tell you what you mean to me." "What do I mean to you?" she whispered. "Everything," he breathed. "You mean everything?" Resnick rolled his eyes. "Touching. Let's go, princess." He started to drag her toward the lake. Iris twisted, trying to see Kade one last time. And Kade moved. Faster than should be possible, he closed the distance between them. His hand shot out, grabbed the gun from the man nearest him, and fired 3 shots in rapid succession. 3 of Resnick's men dropped. Then chaos erupted. Kade's men opened fire from their positions. Resnick's crew returned fire. Iris screamed as Resnick used her as a shield, gun pressed to her temple. "Call them off," Resnick roared. "Call them off or she dies." Kade froze, gun still raised. Blood ran down his arm from a graze wound. His eyes found Iris's. "Trust me," he mouthed. She barely had time to nod before Kade dropped his aim and fired, not at Resnick, but at his knee. Resnick screamed, grip loosening. Iris threw herself sideways. Kade was already moving, covering the ground between them, tackling Resnick to the ground. The fight was brutal and fast. Kade's fists connected with Resnick's face once, twice, 3 times. Blood splattered the grass. When Resnick tried to raise his gun, Kade broke his wrist with a sickening crack. "You touch her," Kade snarled. "You even think about her, and I will make you pray for death. Understand?" Resnick spat blood. "You're insane." "Yes." Kade pressed the gun to Resnick's forehead. "And that should terrify you." "Kade," Iris's voice, soft and steady. "Don't." He looked at her, chest heaving, blood on his knuckles, murder in his eyes. "Please," she said, "don't become more of a monster for me. I chose you because I saw your humanity. Don't throw it away." "He was going to kill you, but he didn't, and you don't have to kill him." She moved closer, carefully. "You're not your father. You don't have to bury everything soft. You can choose differently." Kate's hand shook. For a long moment, she thought he'd pull the trigger anyway. Then he lowered the gun. "Take him," he told his men, voice dead. "Lock him up. I'll decide what to do with him later." Rook and the others dragged Resnick away. The remaining enemy crew had either fled or surrendered. The lawn was littered with spent shells and blood and broken bodies. Kade stood slowly, turning to face Iris. They stared at each other across the carnage, both shaking, both alive, both changed. "You left the panic room," he said quietly. "You would have died. You could have been killed. So could you. Iris, I love you," she blurted out. "I know it's insane. I know it's been less than a week. I know you're a criminal and I'm nobody, and this whole thing is impossible. But I love you, and I couldn't let you die without you knowing." Kade's face crumpled. The ice shattered completely, and then he was moving, closing the distance between them, pulling her into his arms so tightly she couldn't breathe. "I love you," he whispered into her ear. "God help me. I love you. I didn't think I was capable of it anymore. But you walked into my life with a wrong number and terrible taste in takeout, and you made me remember what it felt like to be human." Iris pulled back just enough to see his face. "What do we do now?" "I don't know." He cupped her face in his bloody, scarred hands. "But I know I'm not letting you go, not unless you want to leave. If you run, I'll understand. But if you stay..." "I'm staying," she said. "I'm staying, and we're going to figure this out together. It won't be easy. My world is my world now." She rose on her toes, pressing her forehead to his. "I'm not scared anymore. Not of you, not of this, not of loving someone and losing them. Because even if this ends tomorrow, you gave me today. You made me feel alive again. Iris." She kissed him. It was soft and desperate and tasted like blood and tears and new beginnings. His arms tightened around her, and she felt him shake with relief, with fear, with love he'd denied himself for 15 years. When they broke apart, he rested his forehead against hers, both of them breathing hard. "I'm still a monster," he whispered. "Then I love the monster," she whispered back, "because he's mine." 3 weeks later, Iris stood in the library, their library now, arranging books on the newly dusted shelves. The house felt different, warmer, lived in. Kade had fired most of his staff and hired normal people. A housekeeper who hummed while she worked, a cook who asked their preferences, security who smiled occasionally. The empire still existed. Kade still ran it, but he'd made changes, shifted focus from violence to legitimate businesses, cut ties with the worst elements, started unwinding the blood money from the clean. It would take years, maybe decades, but he was trying, for her, for himself, for the man his mother had wanted him to be. "Penny for your thoughts?" Kade's voice came from the doorway. She turned, smiling. He wore jeans and a soft sweater, looking nothing like the terrifying Don who'd surrounded her house with SUVs. He looked like a man, flawed, scarred, but hers. "Just thinking about how strange life is," she said. "A month ago, I was dead inside. Now I'm living with a Mafia boss and rearranging his dead mother's library." When you put it that way, it sounds completely insane. He crossed to her, wrapping his arms around her waist from behind. "Any regrets?" "Only one." She leaned back against his chest. "I regret that I don't regret any of this." He laughed, a real laugh, the kind that crinkled his eyes and made him look years younger. "Zara still won't speak to you. She's coming around. She screamed at me for an hour about dating a criminal, but then she met you and admitted you make excellent pasta. High praise from your terrifying best friend. She's protective. She thinks I've lost my mind. Have you?" He pressed a kiss to her temple. Completely. Iris turned in his arms, looping hers around his neck. But I've never been happier. Is that wrong? If it is, I don't want to be right. His expression turned serious. Iris, I need to tell you something. Her heart skipped. What? Resnick cut a deal. He's giving testimony against his organization in exchange for witness protection, which means, he took a breath. You're safe, completely safe. No more guards, no more threats. You can go home, go back to your life, the bookshop, your apartment, everything. Iris's throat tightened. You're letting me go? I'm giving you the choice I should have given you from the beginning. He cupped her face. Stay or go. No pressure, no guilt, just what you want. What do you want? I want you here. Every day. Every night. I want to wake up to you stealing my coffee and reorganizing my shelves. I want to teach you every recipe my mother knew. I want, his voice cracked. I want the impossible. You, forever. But I won't cage you. Not again. Iris pretended to think about it, watching panic flicker across his face. Then she smiled. Good thing I already gave up the lease on my apartment. What? I called my landlord last week. Moved my stuff here while you were in meetings. She traced his jaw. Kade, I chose you the night I walked out of that panic room. I'm not going anywhere. You're serious? Completely. Though we need to talk about redecorating. This place is beautiful but cold. I'm thinking more color, maybe some plants. He kissed her, cutting off her words, pouring everything he couldn't say into the press of his lips against hers. When they broke apart, both were breathing hard. I don't deserve you, he whispered. You're right. You deserve someone perfect, someone uncomplicated, someone who fits in your world. She grinned. Too bad you're stuck with me. I wouldn't have it any other way. Her phone buzzed. She glanced at it and laughed. It's Zara. She wants to know if you'll teach her to make pasta too. Tell her I charge by the hour. She'll pay. She's been dating this guy who's apparently terrible in the kitchen. Kade raised an eyebrow. Your best friend is dating someone? Shocked me too. Apparently, wrong numbers run in our circle. He laughed again, and the sound filled the library with light. Later, they made dinner together, his mother's pasta, her terrible jokes, their hands brushing as they moved around the kitchen in synchronized chaos. They ate on the back terrace overlooking the lake where boats had once brought violence. Now it just reflected stars. Can I ask you something? Iris said, twirling pasta around her fork. Anything. Do you think Natalia would approve of us? Kade was quiet for a moment, staring at the lake, then, yeah, I think she would. She always said I needed someone stubborn enough to put up with me, someone who'd see past the scary face and find the scared kid underneath. You're not that scary. I terrified you. Initially, now you're just mine. She reached across the table, taking his hand, and I'm yours, however complicated that is. However impossible, he agreed, lacing their fingers together. As if on cue, Iris's phone lit up with a text. From the wrong number that had started everything. No, not the wrong number anymore. The right one. Kade, coffee tomorrow? I miss you. She laughed, showing him the screen. Really? We're sitting right next to each other. He shrugged, smirking. Tradition, you have to respond. She typed quickly. I'll be there. I'm always here. His phone chimed with a reply. He read it, and something soft and vulnerable crossed his face. The look of a man who'd been lost and was finally, impossibly, found. Always? He asked quietly. Always, she confirmed. They sat in comfortable silence, hands joined, the city glittering in the distance like scattered diamonds. Two ghosts who'd found each other by accident and chosen each other on purpose. Two broken people who discovered that sometimes the wrong number was exactly the right one. Hey, Kade? Yeah? Thank you for surrounding my house with black cars. He laughed. God, she loved his laugh. Thank you for not calling the cops. Thank you for making me feel alive again. Thank you for making me feel human. She squeezed his hand. We're quite the pair, aren't we? The best kind of disaster, he agreed. And under the stars, beside the lake, in the house that was no longer empty, they built their impossible future one day at a time. Because sometimes the most beautiful love stories begin with a mistake, and sometimes the people who scare us most are the ones who save us. 3 months later, Iris opened her bookshop with new security, discreet, and new purpose, visible. Kate funded a literacy program in Natalia's name. They fought, made up, fought again, made pasta at midnight, learned each other's nightmares and favorite songs and the precise way to hold each other when the darkness crept in. It wasn't perfect. His world still had shadows. Her grief still had sharp edges. But they were real. Messily, beautifully, impossibly real. And one evening, as Iris was closing the bookshop, she found a first edition of her favorite book on the counter with a note. Wrong numbers, right person, marry me? She looked up to find Kate standing in the doorway, looking terrified and hopeful and so completely hers. She didn't even hesitate. Yes, because some mistakes are meant to happen. Some wrong numbers connect exactly the right hearts. And some monsters are just men waiting for someone brave enough to love them. What's your take on second chances and unexpected love? Have you ever had a moment that changed everything? Drop your stories below. I love hearing how fate works in mysterious ways. And if this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to remember that it's never too late to feel alive again.